Most people never admit this truth, but you feel it every day. Your mind feels tired before your body does. You wake up already carrying weight you did not earn. Thoughts arrive before you are ready. Doubt speaks faster than confidence. And somewhere deep inside, you know this is not weakness. It is conditioning. You were never taught how to build a mind that stands firm when pressure arrives. You are taught how to react. You are taught how to cope. You are taught how to distract yourself when things feel heavy. But a strong mind is not built through escape. It is built through quiet resistance. And when that resistance becomes steady, something changes. People begin
To feel it before they understand it. They sense that you do not move when they expect you to move. They sense that pressure does not bend you the way it bends others, and that is when strength becomes unsettling. Because a strong mind does not announce itself. It shows up in silence. It shows up in the way you pause instead of panic, in the way you breathe instead of react, in the way you choose not to explain yourself. And you can feel it now. There is something in you that wants that kind of control, that wants that kind of calm. Not to dominate others, but to finally dominate your own noise. Think about an ordinary moment. You sit alone, maybe on your bed, maybe at a desk. Your phone is near you. Your work is waiting. Your goals feel far. And suddenly, your mind begins to talk. It reminds you of what you have not done. It shows you images of people moving faster than you. It tells you that you are late, that you are behind, that you should be more. And without noticing, your body responds. Your shoulders tighten. Your breath shortens. You scroll. You delay. You escape for a moment. This is where weak minds are formed. Not because the person is incapable, but because they never learned how to stay present when discomfort appears. A strong mind is built by staying. Staying when the urge is to leave. Staying when the emotion rises. Staying when the thought pushes. And the first rule of a strong mind is simple. You do not obey every thought that speaks. Thoughts are suggestions, not commands. They arrive automatically. But you choose which ones deserve action. When fear says move now, you pause. When doubt says stop, you observe. When anger says speak, you wait. This pause is power. It is small. It is quiet. But it changes everything. Because most people live inside reaction. They are pulled by moods, dragged by feelings, controlled by impulses. And when you are not, it feels threatening to them. They cannot predict you. They cannot rush you. They cannot easily control you. Ask yourself this quietly. When was the last time you felt an emotion but did not immediately act on it? When was the last time you allowed discomfort to exist without trying to remove it? This is where strength begins. The second rule grows from this. You train your mind through repetition, not motivation. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Discipline is structural. It stays. A strong mind does not wait to feel ready. It moves because it decided to move. When you wake up and your body feels heavy, you move anyway. When your mind says later, you act now. Not aggressively, not forcefully, calmly. This calm action rewires you. Each time you act without emotion leading you, your mind learns a new pattern. It learns that you are in control. Not the feeling, not the mood, not the fear. Over time, this creates an inner silence, and silence is intimidating, because silence means certainty. People who are unsure speak constantly. They explain, they justify, they defend. A strong mind does not need noise. It needs alignment. The third rule is uncomfortable but necessary. You must stop seeking permission to be who you are becoming. Many minds stay weak because they wait for approval. They want agreement. They want reassurance. They want someone to say you are doing it right. But strength grows when you move without applause, when you improve in private, when you change without announcement, when you hold your vision without explaining it. This does not make you cold. It makes you grounded. And grounded people feel solid. You can sense it in them. They do not rush to respond. They do not chase validation. They do not collapse under criticism. They listen. They decide. They move. Slowly, clearly. The fourth rule deepens this strength. You learn to be alone without feeling empty. Many people fear silence because silence reveals them. It shows them unresolved thoughts, unprocessed feelings, unfinished promises to themselves. A strong mind does not run from this. It sits with it. It listens. It reflects. It uses solitude as a tool. When you are comfortable alone, you become dangerous in the best way. Because you are no longer controlled by loneliness. You do not cling. You do not beg. You do not settle. And people feel that independence. It creates distance, and distance creates respect. Finally, there is one truth that binds all of this together. A strong mind is not loud. It does not need to prove itself. It does not argue to win. It does not react to impress. It moves with intention, and that intention becomes visible over time. People begin to notice that you are steady when things fall apart, that you do not panic when others do, that you do not chase what everyone else is chasing, and they may not say it, but they feel it. This kind of strength creates unease, because it reminds people of what they avoid building in themselves. And now you are here, listening, pausing, reflecting. That alone is a signal. Something is already changing. You are not looking for motivation. You are looking for structure, for clarity, for control. And this path does not ask you to become aggressive. It asks you to become consistent, calm, present, strong. And that strength will not shout. It will be felt. As this strength grows, you begin to notice something subtle inside yourself. Situations that once felt heavy no longer shake you in the same way. Words that once hurt now pass through you without staying. Problems still exist, but they no longer feel personal. This is not because you stopped caring. It is because you stopped attaching your identity to every outcome. A strong mind separates who you are from what happens around you. You still work. You still try. You still fail sometimes. But failure no longer defines you. It becomes information. And this shift is powerful. Because most people suffer not from events, but from the meaning they attach to those events. They fail and think they are failures. They struggle and think they are broken. A strong mind does not do this. It says, "This happened. That is all." And then it asks what comes next. This calm response confuses people who expect emotion. They expect anger. They expect explanation. They expect collapse. But instead they meet stability. And stability is unsettling when you are used to chaos. You begin to move through life differently. You speak less, but with more weight. You listen more, but absorb less negativity. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop adjusting yourself to fit into rooms that were never built for you. This is another rule of a strong mind. You protect your inner space. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. Not every situation deserves your energy. Not every battle deserves your response. Silence becomes a filter. You do not respond immediately. You do not give emotional reactions freely. And this is not manipulation. It is self-respect. When you control your responses, you control the pace of every interaction. People begin to slow down around you. They choose their words more carefully. They feel the weight of your presence without you demanding it. And slowly, your mind learns something important. You do not need to dominate to be powerful. You need to be centered. There will be days when this feels difficult. Days when your old patterns try to return. When your mind wants to rush. When emotions rise quickly. When impatience knocks. This is not failure. This is training. Strength is not built by never falling. It is built by noticing the fall sooner, by returning to calm faster, by choosing awareness again and again. Each time you pause instead of react, you reinforce the new version of yourself. Each time you act without waiting for motivation, you deepen discipline. Each time you stay silent instead of explaining, you strengthen your inner authority. And authority does not come from volume. It comes from certainty. Ask yourself something honestly. How often do you abandon your own standards to feel accepted? How often do you say yes when your body says no? How often do you explain yourself to people who are not listening? A strong mind begins to close these gaps. It aligns action with values. It chooses long-term peace over short-term comfort. This alignment creates a quiet confidence, not excitement, not arrogance, calm confidence, the kind that does not need to be seen to exist. Over time, people respond to you differently. They may not know why, but they feel something has changed. You are no longer easily influenced. You are no longer emotionally available for chaos. You no longer chase approval. And this creates distance. Some will respect it. Some will feel threatened by it. This is normal. When you change internally, your environment reacts. Do not rush to fix this. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. Growth often creates temporary isolation. But this isolation is not loneliness. It is refinement. It removes noise. It removes distraction. It forces you to rely on yourself. And this reliance builds trust within. You begin to trust your decisions, your timing, your silence, your patience. You stop asking if you are doing enough. You start knowing you are becoming enough. Another layer of strength forms when you stop comparing your pace to others. A strong mind understands that speed without direction leads nowhere. You move steadily. You build quietly. You improve daily in small ways. And these small improvements compound. While others seek dramatic change, you build unshakable foundations. This patience is rare, and rarity creates presence. People sense that you are not rushed by trends, not pressured by timelines, not desperate for outcomes. You are focused, and focus is intimidating because it cannot be distracted easily. There will be moments when someone challenges you, tests you, pushes you emotionally. This is where your strength becomes visible, not through confrontation, but through composure. You breathe, you listen, you respond only if needed. And when you do, your words are calm and clear. No defense, no emotion, just truth. This kind of response stops arguments before they begin. It shifts power silently, and the person feels it. They realize they cannot pull you into reaction. And reaction is how most people gain control. You are learning to remove that entry point. Finally understand this. A strong mind is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in ordinary ones. In the moment you wake up and choose discipline, in the moment you feel discomfort and stay present, in the moment you want validation and choose silence, in the moment you want escape and choose effort. These moments are small, but they are constant, and constancy creates identity. You are not trying to look strong. You are becoming strong. And when this strength settles fully, it does not announce itself. It simply exists, steady, grounded, unmoved, and people feel it. As this inner strength deepens, your relationship with pressure begins to change. Pressure no longer feels like an enemy. It becomes a signal that you are doing something meaningful. Weak minds run from pressure because they interpret it as danger. Strong minds recognize it as growth. When responsibility increases, you do not complain. You adjust. When expectations rise, you do not panic. You prepare. This shift alone separates you from most people, because most people want comfort without cost. They want results without responsibility. A strong mind understands that weight is earned, and you carry it without noise. You start to trust yourself under stress. You notice that even when things feel uncertain, your inner state remains steady. This steadiness becomes your anchor. When chaos surrounds you, you become calm. When others rush, you slow down. And slowing down is not weakness, it is control. You think clearly because you are not emotionally flooded. You see patterns others miss because they are busy reacting. This clarity is powerful. It allows you to make decisions from logic instead of fear, from values instead of urgency. Over time, this creates a reputation you did not ask for. People begin to see you as reliable, as stable, as someone who does not break easily. And reliability is intimidating in a world full of inconsistency. Another shift happens quietly. You stop needing to prove your strength. Early in growth, people try to show they are disciplined. They speak about routines. They mention effort. But real strength removes the need to announce itself. You simply do what must be done, and you let results speak. You become less reactive to praise and less affected by criticism. Praise becomes information. Criticism becomes noise. You take what is useful and leave the rest. This emotional neutrality creates freedom. You are no longer controlled by external feedback. You do not rise with compliments or fall with disapproval. You remain centered, and centered people are hard to manipulate. You also begin to respect your energy deeply. You notice how certain conversations drain you, how certain habits weaken you, how certain environments disturb your focus. A strong mind does not tolerate constant leakage. You set boundaries quietly. You leave situations early. You limit exposure, not out of fear, but out of awareness. Energy is currency, and you spend it intentionally. This makes your presence more concentrated. When you speak, it matters. When you act, it is noticed. Because you are not scattered. You are aligned. There will be moments when you feel misunderstood, when others think you are distant, or cold, or too serious. Let this pass. Depth often looks like distance to those who live on the surface. You do not need to correct their perception. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be in alignment with yourself. That alignment creates peace. And peace is not passive. It is powerful. It allows you to move through life without internal conflict. You are no longer fighting yourself. You are no longer negotiating with your impulses. You have decided who you are becoming, and your actions follow that decision. This decision reduces mental noise. Many people feel tired not because they do too much, but because they constantly argue with themselves. Should I do this? Should I stop? Should I try? Should I quit? A strong mind removes this debate. It decides once, and then it executes daily. This simplicity creates stamina. You can go longer, stay consistent, recover faster. And stamina is terrifying in a short attention world. People are used to intensity that fades. They are not used to consistency that endures. You become predictable in the best way, calm, focused, reliable. And this predictability builds trust. Others trust you, but more importantly, you trust yourself. You know that when things get hard, you will not abandon yourself. This self-trust changes everything. It allows you to take bigger risks, to aim higher, to endure longer, because you are no longer afraid of discomfort. You know you can handle it. This confidence is quiet. It does not rush. It does not boast. It waits. And waiting is a skill. When opportunities appear, you do not jump impulsively. You evaluate. You choose. You move with precision. This precision intimidates those who act emotionally. They cannot read you easily. They cannot push you quickly. They cannot rush your decisions. And in a world where speed is worshipped, calm precision feels powerful. You also begin to understand something important about fear. Fear does not disappear. It transforms. It becomes awareness. It becomes respect for the task. It becomes preparation. You no longer try to eliminate fear. You use it. You let it sharpen your focus. You let it refine your effort. Fear becomes fuel instead of a barrier. This is advanced strength, and it develops only through repeated exposure to discomfort without escape. Each time you stay, your nervous system learns safety in difficulty. Over time, what once overwhelmed you becomes manageable, and what once felt impossible becomes familiar. Familiarity breeds confidence, and confidence breeds presence. You begin to occupy space differently. You walk slower. You speak calmer. You react less. And people notice. They may not know why they feel uneasy around you, but they feel it. Because your calm highlights their chaos. Your patience exposes their rush. Your discipline reflects their avoidance. This is not your responsibility. You are not here to save anyone. You are here to become stable, and stability influences more than words ever could. At this stage, something important becomes clear to you. Strength is not about adding more. It is about removing what weakens you. You stop feeding habits that drain your attention. You stop entertaining thoughts that lead nowhere. You stop revisiting stories that keep you small. This subtraction creates space, and space creates clarity. Your mind feels less crowded. Decisions feel simpler. You no longer feel pulled in 10 directions at once. A strong mind chooses depth over breadth. It commits to fewer things and does them well. This commitment brings a sense of control that most people never experience. Because most people are busy reacting to life instead of directing it, you begin directing. Quietly, intentionally, without urgency. When challenges appear, you do not ask, "Why me?" You ask, "How now?" This single shift removes self-pity. It replaces it with agency. Agency is power. It tells your mind that you are not a victim of circumstances. You are a participant, and participants act. They do not wait to be rescued. This mindset changes how you approach obstacles. You break them into steps. You address what you can control. You release what you cannot. This balance keeps you grounded. Many minds break because they try to control everything. A strong mind knows where to apply effort and where to let go. This wisdom comes from experience, from trying, from failing, from learning, and from staying present through it all. You also start to see how emotional discipline shapes your language. You speak with fewer extremes. You stop using words that amplify stress. You replace always with sometimes. You replace never with not yet. These small changes matter because language programs perception. When your words become calmer, your mind follows. This creates a feedback loop. Calm thought leads to calm speech. Calm speech reinforces calm thought. Over time, this becomes your default state. People feel safe around you or unsettled, depending on their inner world. Those who live in chaos feel exposed by calm. They may test you, push boundaries, seek reactions. Do not take this personally. They are searching for familiarity, and you no longer offer it. You remain steady. You do not raise your voice. You do not rush to respond. You do not absorb their emotion. This emotional independence is rare, and rarity creates gravity. Gravity pulls attention without effort. You also notice that your goals begin to change. Early goals are often external: recognition, achievement, status. As your mind strengthens, your goals become internal: consistency, integrity, mastery. You care less about how things look and more about how they feel, not comfort, alignment. You want your actions to match your values. When they do, you experience peace even during difficulty. This peace is not happiness, it is stability, and stability allows happiness to appear naturally, without chasing it. You also begin to accept responsibility for your inner state. You stop blaming people for how you feel. You stop expecting situations to be perfect. You stop waiting for the right mood. You act regardless. This responsibility is heavy, but it is freeing, because it returns control to you. When you realize that your reactions are yours to manage, life becomes less threatening. Nothing can easily destabilize you. You are no longer dependent on external calm. You carry it within. There will be moments when you feel tempted to return to old patterns, to seek distraction, to avoid discomfort, to soften standards. This is normal. Do not judge it. Notice it. Awareness is strength. Each time you notice a pull and choose discipline, you reinforce your identity. Identity is built through repeated choices, not thoughts, not intentions. Choices, small, daily, often unnoticed, but powerful. Over time, these choices accumulate. They create a person who is internally solid, a person who does not collapse under pressure, a person who does not need to dominate to feel powerful. This kind of person is rare, and rarity draws attention. People begin to trust you with responsibility, with leadership, with difficult tasks, not because you ask, but because you handle weight well. You do not complain. You do not dramatize. You do not make things heavier than they are. You simplify. And simplicity is a sign of mastery. You also become more patient with others, not because you tolerate weakness, but because you understand growth takes time. You remember who you were. You see yourself in their struggles. This compassion does not make you soft, it makes you wise. You do not lower standards, you hold them quietly. And those who are ready will rise to meet them. Those who are not will drift away. This is natural. Do not chase either group. Stay focused on your path. There is a moment when you realize something profound. You no longer fear being alone. You no longer fear being misunderstood. You no longer fear slow progress. These fears once controlled you. Now they are background noise, and when fear loses control, freedom appears. Freedom not to do whatever you want, but freedom to do what matters. And this freedom changes how you move through the world. You are less rushed, less reactive, less concerned with appearances, more grounded, more deliberate, more present. And presence is what people feel. Before words, before actions, before results. They feel your presence, and presence is the final expression of a strong mind. Now the mind you are building begins to settle into something solid, not rigid, not closed, but stable. You are no longer surprised by difficulty. You expect it, and expectation removes shock. When something goes wrong, your system does not panic. It adapts. This adaptability is one of the strongest traits a person can have. Because life will always apply pressure. It will change plans. It will remove certainty. It will challenge identity. Weak minds demand stability from the outside. Strong minds create it from within. You no longer ask life to be easier. You become better at handling it. This internal shift changes how time feels. You stop rushing the future. You stop regretting the past. You work inside the present moment with focus and patience. And patience is misunderstood. Patience is not waiting without action. It is acting without anxiety. You do what needs to be done today, fully, cleanly, without drama. And you trust that results will follow. This trust is earned. It comes from watching yourself show up again and again, even when tired, even when bored, even when unnoticed. Over time, your mind associates effort with safety instead of fear. This rewiring is deep, because most people associate effort with pain, with pressure, with loss. You associate it with identity. You see effort as proof of who you are becoming, and this makes you unstoppable in a quiet way. You do not burn out easily, because you are not forcing intensity. You are maintaining consistency. You work within your limits while slowly expanding them. This slow expansion creates durability, and durability is rare. Many people can sprint. Few can endure. You can endure. And endurance is intimidating because it does not fade quickly. You also become more honest with yourself. Brutally honest. Calmly honest. You stop lying about what you avoid. You stop pretending habits are harmless. You stop justifying delays. This honesty does not shame you. It strengthens you. Because truth removes confusion. When you know exactly where you stand, you know exactly what to do next. There is no fog, no self-deception, just clarity. And clarity creates momentum. You also notice how little you need now to feel centered. You no longer need constant stimulation. You no longer need approval. You no longer need distraction. Silence feels comfortable. Stillness feels productive. This is a sign of maturity. A strong mind can sit with itself without needing escape. And when you can sit with yourself, you can face anything. People who cannot sit with themselves avoid challenges. They avoid depth. They avoid growth. You do not. You lean in, quietly, steadily. Another change appears in how you handle success. You do not become inflated. You do not become careless. You treat success as temporary, as something to manage, not worship. This keeps you grounded. It prevents arrogance. It keeps your mind flexible. You stay hungry, but not desperate. You stay confident, but not loud. This balance is powerful because it keeps you learning. It keeps you improving. It keeps you adaptable. You also begin to see through emotional manipulation. You recognize guilt tactics, pressure tactics, fear-based influence. Because your mind is no longer reactive, these tactics lose power. You see them clearly. And clarity removes control. This does not make you defensive. It makes you selective. You choose where to engage. You choose where to stay silent. You choose where to walk away. Walking away becomes easier. Not because you care less, but because you respect yourself more. Self-respect changes everything. It changes how you speak, how you listen, how you commit, how you leave. People sense this. They feel that you do not cling, that you do not chase, that you do not beg for understanding. This makes your presence heavy, in a calm way. You do not need to intimidate. Your stability does it for you. There is also a deeper shift now. You stop identifying with temporary states. You are not your mood. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the one observing them. This separation gives you control. When sadness appears, you do not drown in it. When anger rises, you do not become it. When fear shows up, you do not obey it. You acknowledge. You observe. You choose. This choice is freedom, and freedom is strength. You begin to understand that the strongest people are not the most expressive. They are the most regulated. They feel deeply, but they move deliberately. This regulation allows them to build, to lead, to protect, to endure. You are becoming that kind of person, not through force, but through discipline. Not through noise, but through consistency. And now something important must be said. This path is not glamorous. It will not give instant results. It will not make you popular, but it will make you solid. And solidity outlasts trends, outlasts opinions, outlasts noise. When life becomes difficult, most people collapse inward. You will stand quietly. When others look for escape, you will look for structure. When others react emotionally, you will respond intentionally. And that difference will be felt, not because you want it to be, but because it cannot be hidden. You are building a mind that does not need to prove itself. A mind that does not seek validation. A mind that can sit in discomfort without breaking. And that kind of mind is rare. And rarity creates impact. At the end of this path, you do not arrive at a finish line. You arrive at a way of being. A way of standing inside yourself that does not depend on outcomes. You stop measuring your worth by results alone. You measure it by consistency, by integrity, by how you show up when no one is watching. This changes the way you experience life. You no longer chase moments of confidence. Confidence becomes your baseline. You no longer look for strength. Strength becomes your posture. You carry yourself differently now. Your movements are calmer, your reactions slower, your decisions cleaner, and this calm presence becomes unmistakable. People feel it before they understand it. They sense that you are not easily shaken, that you are not easily influenced, that you are not driven by emotion alone. This creates a quiet distance, not coldness, stability. And stability commands respect without asking for it. You also realize that true strength does not isolate you from others. It simply filters who can reach you. You become selective with your time, selective with your energy, selective with your words. You stop trying to be understood by everyone. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. This is not arrogance. It is clarity. You understand that your path is not for everyone, and you no longer need it to be. This acceptance removes inner tension. You stop fighting reality. You stop resisting discomfort. You stop wishing things were easier. And when resistance ends, energy returns. That energy flows into focus, into effort, into discipline. You begin to feel grounded even during uncertainty.